So I've been asked some really interesting political questions about like how elections would play out in the United States. And I understand that many of my viewers are not from the United States. And so here's one of them. There are three scenarios that I'm thinking about. What would happen if, one, Biden dies? Who will succeed him? And how would that person fare against Trump? So if something happened to Biden, one way or another, Kamala Harris is right there in the wings to pick up the slack. Historically, we don't tend to look at our vice presidents as nearly as competent as the president. Now, maybe Democrats will see this differently, but we generally feel that way. So how would she compare against Trump? Probably not as well, but again, you might disagree with me. We can move on from there. Question number two. Trump dies, who will run against Biden? So that's a trickier one because there's no real succession plan here with Trump. There's no heir apparent, so to speak. So how will the MAGA followers act? So MAGA followers will be kind of looking for somebody that can be as Trumpy as Trump, and that's going to be hard to find. Remember, what's driving Trump is not Trump necessarily, but there's some disillusionment or anger or something among MAGA constituents that Trump is channeling. He's become the lightning rod for their anger and angst. And so they're going to be looking around. I have no idea who they would find. Scenario number three was, what happens if both of them die before the election? Okay, if either of them die before the primary, what'll happen is if they're taken off the ballot for some reason, it'll go to the convention, and the delegates at the convention will be the ones that decide. They'll vote on who they're going to put forward. But again, it's easier to see a scenario with someone like Kamala Harris than it is to see over on the Republican side because there's no heir apparent. Finally, last thing they said was, of course, I wouldn't wish anyone to die, but these two aren't newbies in life. And that's an understatement. Like, Joe Biden's 81. If he gets elected, and this is the most effective advertisement that I've seen so far against Joe Biden, was essentially showing the date that which, if he's elected now in 2024, he will be president through 2029. And then it's asking, is he going to live that long? Now, it's very possible that he would live that long. My father's older than that. But it is a real open question about how old he is. Trump's no spring chicken either. He's not that far behind. And yeah, you can compare the physical fitness, but both of them are in such an age that you would want to question this kind of thing. This was, again, Nikki Haley's greatest talking point, but you know what happened with her. It didn't go anywhere. All right. I hope that answers your question. If something happens to either of them, the convention will decide. If something happens to either of them after the convention, though, that would be a whole different scenario, and I'm not sure exactly what the process would be. All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.